I can assure you that Father did not see my homily ahead of time. You'll know why I said that in about 13 seconds. Here we go. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Those words spoken by us at each of the 14 stations of the cross are critical to our understanding of God's extraordinary love for us. Today is the halfway mark of the Sundays of Lent. Why are Father and I not vested in violet today? Violet being the color for Lent. This Sunday is known as Laetare Sunday, for the first words of the entrance antiphon of the Latin Mass. Laetare means rejoice, and we are indeed rejoicing. We pause during Lent to rejoice because we have received the ultimate gift. We have received redemption. This Sunday invites us to retrace one of the most important dynamics of our baptismal rebirth. When we are born blind. Blind to God, blind to the saving power of Jesus' passion, death, and resurrection, blind to the path that Jesus has given us to see God and receive this incredible gift. That blindness comes from original sin. So similar to the man we hear about in today's gospel, we too are born blind. Our baptism heals us and opens our eyes to better see God. Jesus uses this miracle to teach his disciples a critical lesson. This lesson is timeless, and we too can learn from it. The account of the blind man in today's gospel is filled with imagery that lays out the path for the spiritual life. One could easily add to this that even when we, the baptized, throughout our lives, we sometimes become blinded again. Our sinfulness obscures our sight or blinds us to be able to see Christ. The blind man is unable to see Jesus and everyone gathered. Jesus refers to himself as the light of the world. Immediately after that, he does something that may seem to us to be truly kind of weird if you think about it. He spits on the ground and forms a healing salve out of dirt and his saliva. Jesus is divine and came to us here on earth and became human. There is more to this healing salve than simply saliva and dirt. Symbolic of who Jesus really is and what he does for us. You see, he is sent from heaven. He is divine. His saliva mingling with the earth is symbolic of his divinity merging with us here on earth. Jesus heals this man and opens his eyes. I am the light of the world suddenly is made easier to grasp because we have a tangible example for it. A man's eyes are healed, and now he sees light, literally and figuratively. What's going on here is that Jesus is showing us, through the blind man, what he is about to do for the whole world. This man is blind, and Jesus performs this incredible miracle. It's no accident that to complete the first part, the man must wash his face in the pool of Siloam. The gospel writer helps us unpack this story by adding that Siloam means sent. The man is healed. His ability to see is reversed when he is sent. Now that he is transformed, something happens. People don't quite recognize him. They're puzzled. Is that the blind beggar? Is that the same guy? It can't be him. Jesus heals him on the Sabbath. The religious authority viewed that as a major transgression. Here's the thing. There is no earthly limit to God's mercy. Our sin, which blinds us, is like a drop of water. God's mercy is like dropping that drop of water in the ocean. The ocean is God's mercy, which completely absorbs that small drop, our sin. What happens next is that the religious leaders, in their ignorance and inability to see who Jesus really is, throw the now former blind man out. Jesus then finds the former blind man and asks, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" Jesus helps this man see who that is, and once the former blind man sees him for who he is, the first thing he does is worship him. Let's take this account of the blind man healed and apply it to our spiritual life, our spiritual journey. Jesus instituted the sacraments so that we might be healed and transformed. Those sacraments all contain earthly, tangible things to help us better understand what we receive. In baptism, there is water and holy oils. At confirmation, there is holy oil and a physical touch. The Eucharist begins with bread and wine, and we consume what by appearance seems to still be bread and wine, but is so much more. In the sacrament of penance and reconciliation, we confess our sins, and then we have to go do something. Penance is our tangible way to communicate to God that we are truly sorry for what we have done or said. Before we are baptized, we are born blind. The healing grace received at baptism opens our eyes to see the light of the world. As we navigate through life, at times we sin, and then our sight is either partially obscured or sometimes we're completely blind to what Jesus calls us to do. The sacraments help us to be transformed. If we truly allow ourselves to be fully transformed by Christ, then, like the blind beggar, those who know us may not partially or even fully recognize us anymore. They too may be puzzled by what looks like us but is now different. Here is another parallel to the blind man in today's gospel and our spiritual life. If we allow ourselves to be transformed, to be healed by Christ, people may become suspicious of us. People may start to ask questions. People may even become angry with us and throw us out. Like the blind man, when we are thrown out, Jesus comes to look for us. We have to be open to that and allow ourselves to be found. Once we encounter Jesus, we can either walk away or be like the former blind man and worship Jesus. What does it mean to worship Jesus? It means that we have made Jesus the center of our lives. It means that we continuously allow Jesus to heal and transform us. It means that we consider Jesus and the sacraments he instituted as vital as food and water in order to live. Did Jesus give us a set plan or perhaps a mission statement in order for us to see with open eyes his path and continuously encounter him? The short answer is yes, he did. So what is that? The Beatitudes from the 5th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. I recommend going back to those. Study the Beatitudes, which are filled with meaning. Then keep reading all of chapters 5, 6, and 7 of Matthew. There you will find what Jesus is calling for. Let's be clear. Following Jesus is not easy. It was and still is radical. The most essential quality for a true follower of Jesus is found in his most enduring lesson of all. He was asked which commandment was the most important, and he told us, love God with every ounce of your being and love your neighbor as yourself. Love is the answer. God is love, and we are called to love like God. So what does God's love for us look like? It looks like that. That is why we rejoice today. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.